window right now, today, January 15th, 2019, and you see somebody standing there taking pictures of the building, taking video of the building, what would you do?
We're still going to approach them to find out what they're doing.
And what if they don't want to tell you? What would you do then?
Well, then again, we would handle it in case-by-case incident.
Okay. Is there any situation in which the person just says, I'm not talking to you, and you would detain them now that you know the actual order?
I'm going to object again. It's calling for speculation. You can answer it if you understood.
I can't say.
All right, well, let me ask you this. Are you armed right now?
Yes.
Are you going to pull out your gun and shoot me right now?
I'm object. That's argumentative.
No?
That's harassment.
I'm not arguing with anything.
Let's not do that.
Are you telling him to not answer that question?
No, he can answer, but
I'd like an answer,
let's not
please.
do that.
What was the question again?
Right now, are you going to pull out your gun and shoot somebody? Yes or no?
I'm going to object to form, foundation. Well, what's the question? You're going to pull out your gun and shoot someone?
He answered it. And the reason you wouldn't do it is because it's illegal, right?
Correct.
Am I asking you to speculate about what you would do?
Are you asking me to speculate on what? Whether I would shoot you or not?
Yeah, you were able to answer that question very quickly and easily. Without your attorney objecting. Excuse me.
I'm going to object.
Excuse me.
Again.
Excuse me.
This is harassing.
Without your attorney objecting that I'm asking you to speculate.
There are specific determinations on whether or not I can use deadly force.
Okay, excellent. Now, let's go back to my example. You look outside the window, you see somebody pointing a camera at the building, just like Amanda was in March of 2018, and videoing the building. Are you going to detain that person or not?
I'm going to, again, object as it calls for speculation.
Right. Speculate.
In that situation, there are no determinant prerequisites or ways to know whether or not we would do that. It doesn't say if they videotape this, you can do this. If you don't, you could do this. With lethal force, it's all documented.
Excellent. Okay, now it's documented for this also, isn't it? You get to detain people if they're recording in the building, right?
Yes.
Is there a policy that tells you when you're allowed to detain somebody outside of the building?
If suspicious activity, yes.
Did you hear the question?
Did you hear my answer?
Did you hear my question? I'm not going to answer your questions today.
Okay, then I'm not sure. You're going to have to repeat your question.
My question was, do you know of a policy that tells you if and when you're allowed to detain somebody taking pictures outside of the building?
I'm going to object. It was just asked and answered.
I'd like an answer, please, this time.
Repeat your question again.
Do you know if there is a policy that tells you when you are allowed to detain somebody for taking pictures outside of the building?
If it falls under suspicious activity, there is procedures to follow.
Okay, what constitutes suspicious activity under this policy?
Well, we're responsible for a lot of people here and the safety of this building. So if we feel that somehow it could be a safety risk, we can detain.
And wouldn't there have to be something other than just taking pictures for you to decide that it's suspicious and you need to detain the person?
How would we know that they were doing anything other than that?
Well, what I'm asking you is, why do you get to detain somebody unless you do know?
I'm not following your question.
Okay, I'm asking you a very, very simple question. Let me ask it this way.
Okay.
Are you allowed to detain people for taking pictures outside of the building, yes or no?
If it falls under suspicious activity, then we can detain people and find out what they're doing and who they are.
And is that a policy, a Cook County Services Department policy?
Suspicious activity, yes.
Yeah, policy 172, right?
Correct.
Suspicious activity reporting. Right, is that the policy?
Correct.
Can I have a few markers, please? I'd like to, yeah. All right, thank you. I'm going to hand you what's been marked as Exhibit 1, and I'd like you first to identify this document, please. And for the record, this is bait stamped CCSAO Bergquist 000013. Is that the policy that you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Please, I'm going to hand you my highlighter. I'm going to ask you please to highlight the portion there where it tells you that you're allowed to detain people for taking pictures outside of the building. Okay, excellent. So I see that there's something on the first page that you highlighted, two things on the second page that you highlighted, and well, the third page is mainly blank, so nothing highlighted there. All right, now the first thing that you highlighted is, and I'm going to read exactly what you highlighted. Examples of suspicious activity may include but are not limited to. Did I read that correctly?
Correct.
Okay. Where does it say there that you get to detain people? And I'm going to hand it back to you so you can show me. And this time highlight, please, where it says you get to detain people.
Okay. It does not say it in that paragraph.
Excellent. Where does it say it? Use the highlighter.
Down under reporting and investigation.
Okay. So now we're moving to the second page. You highlighted two things. One thing over here says that the responsibilities of the respective department head include but are not limited to. Then the next thing is 172.4, reporting and investigation. You highlighted these words. Any member receiving information regarding suspicious activity should take any necessary, immediate, and appropriate action. And that's the end of the highlighting. And your testimony, obviously, is that this authorizes you to detain people who are acting in a way that you feel is suspicious, right?
Yes.
And just so that I understand this correctly, if right now we could go back in time and replay exactly what happened on the day that you arrested Ms. Bergquist. So now we're back to that moment where you don't know her and you don't know what she's doing. But you do get to go back and decide if you're going to arrest her. Are you going to arrest her or not?
I'm going to object again. As it calls for speculation. You can answer.
You're asking me if it happened tomorrow, what would I do?
Nope, that's not what I asked you.
Okay.
If you could go back in time to the day that you arrested her, would you still arrest her?
So you're asking me if I can go back in time?
Yeah.
I don't know how I could do that.
Okay. Did you understand my question?
I did, and you're asking me to suppose whether or not I can go back in time. I can't.
So you can't tell me if you would still arrest her?
I can't tell you what would happen on that day if I went back in time, no.
Okay. Is this an attempt to be funny?
Not a bit.
Are you trying to answer my questions?
I'm trying to answer your question.
You really can't figure this out because you can't wrap your head around time travel. That's what you're saying?
Object. Again, I mean, I'm going to object. It's getting to be harassing again. I mean, is this what